Hi guys, and welcome back to Pass and Move. For today's episode, we do have the game for you as promised against Estoril in the Portuguese Primeira Liga. Now, of course, we are in a much better off position than we were in the last time around, in the last episode. So we are on 51 points with a game in hand. But of course, we are a huge 15 points. We can close that down to 12, but still huge gap between ourselves and Porto, who are kind of running away with the league and letting everyone else fight for the Champions League spots. Now there are 4 teams fighting for 2 spots, and of course only second place goes into group stages, as well as the first, of course, but what I meant was that third only goes into Champions League playoff spots. I think even the third round or something, it's not even a round, what's it called? Best place, third qualifying phase, which then takes you into the playoff and then into group stages. So yeah, we do want to at least get into second, if not first. First seems to be running away from us at the moment, with Porto really just miles ahead in terms of quality. But if we do qualify for the Champions League enough times, if we do go in second place, that means we go straight into group stages and we don't have to miss out like we did this season with the loss to Tottenham in the second leg. So I was very disappointed, of course. So if we could do that this season, just go straight into the group stages, then we'll make at least 6 games worth of European football money, and then depending on how we perform there, we might actually just drop out to Europa League or go further in the Champions League, and even then that'll be better. We saw what one season's worth of Champions League football did to us in terms of finances, and that wasn't even going all the way through. So the better we do in the Champions League, the better off we'll be as a club, as a whole. So we did show you the game against Krasnodar, and after that what followed was a 2-1 win away from home against Firenze. Huge result, of course. We needed to seriously get some good results going, and that's exactly what we did here in these couple of games. Santos and Hassan managing to score, and Thiago George getting a goal as well to sandwich the 2 that we scored. Santos for the penalty, of course. Against Gil Vicente, the second league team, very disappointingly we did draw, but it was a away game, so you kind of understand it, despite the circumstances of Arthur being sent off in the 56th minute. Teams shut down sometimes, and I guess we kind of felt that today, in that game rather. Against Ferreira, a very convincing 4-1 win, with Farias only scoring in the 91st minute to not at least give us the clean sheet. But this was even a bigger win than any other game we played, as of course Ferreira, as you know, they were second at the time when we were third, and they were about 5 points away, and now we lead them with a game in hand as well. So it's a huge result to beat them, and to beat them so convincingly as well really sets us up well for Champions League football, if we can continue our form, of course. Against Dortmund, a huge result, 3-2 in the first knockout round, second knockout round, first leg rather. It's basically the quarterfinals of the Europa League, but we did get a win. The disappointing thing is that Dortmund did get 2 away goals, so by no means are we through to the second round, into the semis, just yet, because of course all Dortmund have to do is win 1-0 away from home. If you can manage to get a couple of goals away, actually at home rather, we're the ones who are away from home. If you can grab a couple of goals away from home, that would be perfect. And we can actually make amends for this result. It's disappointing to concede 2, but maybe we can just go to Dortmund and just go on contain. We didn't do that against Tottenham, so maybe we can learn our mistake, and I might try going on to contain. Not necessarily showing you that game in any of our episodes. I think after Estoril's 5 games time against the 4 games here, 5, we'll be showing you the second leg in the semi-final. This is a cup that's more likely to win, so it doesn't make sense to show you Dortmund. If we do get into semis, then it would make more sense, or possibly even the finals. But so far we are beating expectations by a lot, really. So yeah, we got the Estoril game, and I think there's no real other updates. I mean, we can show you the homepage again. Hassan, top goal scorer. Danilo, average rating as always, as well as red cards. Most player of the man of the match awards as well. Julian Fernandez, Martins with assists. Standard stuff, really, same as it's always been all season. The board are very happy, of course, with our performances. They didn't expect us to qualify for Champions League again, and if we do that, that would be, would be perfect, really. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it in terms of squad updates. Marafona's still injured. Fonte's coming back from injury, but not early enough for today's game. Martins is missing out after Azevedo. Santos and Rosa are a little bit more deserving. And of course, Fabio Martins is also coming back from injury. Rosic very disappointing as a captain. Arthur is actually outperforming him, and who knows, maybe Arthur can actually become a better player as well. You never know, he can become a good player as well, and that's what Rosic is considered, a good player for the league. Let me actually show you our best judge of ability. There you go. Alright, so I think we can just finally kick off, and hopefully an exciting game for you here today. We had a bit of poor luck in recent episodes where there's not too many highlights, so I'm hoping to see at least highlights, if not goals, of some really good action today. And will the curse finally be over? That would be a perfect thing, basically. But yeah, 3 points are needed, are necessary. You know, we can put a gap between ourselves and Benfica and Sporting. Between ourselves and Benfica would be 3 points if we do win today's game. The good news is that, of course, we're still second regardless of what happens today. But, you know, hopefully the boys don't just take it too easy. 4-4-2 against a 4-3-3, that's always interesting. And I think, expect nothing but a win from this match is exactly what's in order for today's game. The boys need to know exactly what's expected of them, and hopefully they can produce the result, or the performance rather, well, and the result, but the performance necessary. We want to see some goals, and we want to see some good goals. And just players playing well in general. Our issue's always been consistency, so the question is, can we be consistent? The good news is that there's a highlight 8 minutes into the game, and hopefully it's Hassan scoring one from long range. Instead, Mano wins it back for his team, and suddenly Estoril on the counter-attack managed to get back into shape, but it looks like they will be the more dangerous team here. But Joker's got the ball again, and it looks like I've made the wrong prediction. Rossa, what's he going to do? Plays it to Hassan. Hassan back to Danilo. What's Danilo going to do here? Long range shot? Yeah. Not bad though, at least it looked like it was going to go on target. Trigueira making it look better than it actually was. He's managed to score a couple of long range shots, so there's no harm in trying. But of course, I'd rather he tries when he already got the lead. 6 shots to their 1 though, and 2 on target. Can we actually make something of note here? Santos on the ball. Danilo finds Joker. He's a bit free. What's he going to do? Straight to Hassan. Oh, back to Santos. Rosa, shoot! Oh, what a goal that is. Beauty. He just swinging his arms out wildly in celebration, yet definitely punched the air, why not? Well deserved, and that's why he gets to start off with Fabio Martins, because despite him being the backup choice, he's proven a really good buy, to be honest. He wasn't that expensive at all, he's in his peak years, and he's managed to have some decent performances. It did show here that it was his 10th goal of the season. It's not bad for an inside forward. You always expect him to get double digits. Hopefully he'll have a number of assists under his belt too. But the point is, I think he hasn't gotten as much game time as Fabio Martins. So there you go, that's the look of his appearances. Not too many, to be honest. And actually, if we can go back, let's have a look at Fabio Martins. Yeah, he's had the majority, the lion's share of appearances. So credit to Rossa for proving his worth whenever he has actually played, and still managing to get 10 goals from not too many appearances. I think he's averaging a goal every 2 games, and that's really good for an inside forward. You'd expect that kind of ratio from a striker, but yeah. Hassan picking up an injury. It looks like it's a concussion, so hopefully nothing too serious after the game. But for this game, we're going to actually miss out on him, so it's a bit disappointing. He hasn't had the best of games, a bit of a quiet one, but you know, Reniel can get an opportunity to prove his worth, and maybe he can grab a couple goals for himself too. But yeah, it looks like we'll go into the break leading by a single goal. Not the most convincing of performances, but we are dominating statistics. I guess that matters, you know, the one, like we always say, the one that matters most is the top left corner one. And are we going to extend that now? Reniel, what's he going to do? Good ball into the box? No, it's outside the box, but Danilo brings it in, and the deflection means it will count as a known goal. Yeah, perfect. Got to see some goals. We're going to get a nice little replay of that. I think Danilo was scoring off target, to be fair, which is why it's a known goal. Yeah, actually that kind of looked like it might have gone into this corner here, but well, I guess only the match engine knows. Either way, 2 knows all that matters. I have to tell the boys to be careful and not complacent. Estoril are remaining in their defensive 4-4-2. It's, you know, 4-4-2 is not defensive by any means. I mean, you can counter, you can attack with it, you can do a lot of things with the 4-4-2. It's just that over here, of course, like I always point out to you guys, you should definitely have this formation set here. You just go into this little tab here, I suppose, and select your opposition's formation, and it just automatically shows for every game that you play. It's so crucial because it's exactly when I know not only when teams change their formation, but it actually will say if they're being defensive or attacking here, and that way you can adjust as well. You can know what's coming. So they're playing defensive 4-4-2, which means I'm playing on a counter. Either way, I always start off every game on counter. If I were attacking, I would be, cautious that if they're playing defensive, that possibly means that they're actually trying to hit us on the counter. And it also makes me aware that I have to try and break the team down. So maybe I do have to push up from counter. Thankfully, we've managed to score early, or relatively early in the game, and they haven't changed their tactics plan, I guess, or their game plan rather since. But it's just to make you aware of certain things. Anyways, Rosso on the ball again, finds Renial quite easily. He finds Danilo, and Danilo is kind of free for a shot. And that's the one where he makes sure he does get his goal finally. Some players are complacent, which is a bit of a worry, but 3-0 ahead with Estoril just having a single shot on target. I guess we can afford to be a bit complacent, I suppose. I was actually going to skip that for a second. There you go. Nice little view of that. I love the behind goal low, whatever you want to call it. What's the replay called? Yeah, behind goal low. Yeah, so I was thinking a couple of things. I think I already mentioned about whether we're going to continue with this Braga series or not. This is the third season. That usually is the key season as a manager. If you don't perform now, it's unlikely that your team will ever perform. Now, we had a lot of hiccups on the way, like, losing too many players and whatnot. So it kind of makes sense that this third season hasn't completely kicked off for us. We're doing quite well in comparison to other teams. Not too bad, but not too good either. We're exceeding board expectations, but not my own expectations. Maybe I'm expecting too much of my team, but I was hoping by now we would actually have a bit of a grip on the league, at least winning it this season, if not having already won it. We definitely do need improvements in terms of players, who to bring in and whatnot. But yeah, if we somehow miss out on Champions League football, because by no means is that guaranteed, as you guys saw with the points gap, or how close the points are between the four teams that I mentioned earlier. If we just end up Europa League, like I mentioned, if it feels like we're stagnating or even moving backwards in terms of our progress or decline, I guess if you want to call it, then I would just basically stop the save. I feel like 3 seasons is decent enough time to know whether you're going to make anything special or not of the team, and yeah, it just makes more sense to start a different save. It gets kind of boring, of course, playing the same save over and over again. Alright, so we'll take off Rosa. No, actually not Rosa. He's had a better game, but unfortunately for him, no one on the bench. So we'll take off Santos instead. He's really got on fire, started... Oh, what the hell are the words? But he's been on fire since he's come back into the team, Santos. He was dropped for Azevedo for a short while there. He was also a little bit injured for a couple small knocks, but he's mainly dropped for his poor form. And I completely took him out of the team, not even the bench, just completely out of the team. And sometimes that's necessary, because if you drop players to the bench, sometimes they don't really care about that. But if you drop them out of the main squad, the 18 players, I guess, 11 starters and 7 on the bench, that makes 18 players. Either way, a huge result here, actually. Should mention that to the players. Very happy. Yeah, if you drop them completely out of that 18 players rather, then they often jump back and back into the form, basically get a goal or whatever. Even the defenders, it works as well. It works with anyone really if you just completely drop them. Obviously don't drop them too often, because you might actually upset them. Santos, of course, is a first team as well, so he doesn't expect to be dropped, so maybe it might not necessarily work with your rotational players, because they kind of expect to be dropped, or even backup players for that matter. But yeah, but in terms of what we have planned for the saves, unless something drastic happens in the next 2 months or so, we might make a decision to actually completely change, just start with a different career entirely. It's been a lot of fun playing in the Portuguese league, in truth. There's a lot of competition. We've had another team join us in terms of trying to break up the big 3 clubs in Ferreira, and that's really good, because it shows that we kind of had an impact on this league, and now it's not so easy for Porto, Benfica and Sporting to just go ahead and keep getting the top 3 spots and keep winning all the titles and cups and all that business. So it's good to see the Portuguese league grow a little bit. And it was a very exciting league nonetheless, but we might want to try a different league entirely, maybe the Dutch league or a completely random league as well. Never really know. But yeah, I think that's quite well in terms of our plan. We've picked up a little bit of form. There's a couple of draws in between here, but it looks like we haven't lost in quite some time. So it's good to see, but we have to try and continue that against Dortmund. I really think I will start off with a contained mentality and hopefully just score a random goal against Dortmund, but just stay on contained until we really actually do have to get out and go all out, because last time against Tottenham it kind of scarred me, I suppose, that how they came around and turned it. So we had this very similar result, except we were away. So initially we thought, okay, we're in much better position because Tottenham have to score. They only needed a single goal, to be fair, but if we scored an early goal in the second leg, then we would be okay because we have 3 away goals, a huge result of course, but they just came around and destroyed us. We did exactly that. We did score an early goal in the 6th minute, but Tottenham just ruined us absolutely, and they did eventually outscore us with them being away from home. So yeah, I think we will go into contain, and hopefully we'll have a positive update for you by the time we're back. Who knows, maybe if we do win this game, and then we'll actually show you in the semi-final as well, if it comes in that 5 games period. But yeah, I think whether we do stay with Braga or whether we start a new save, what we'll be doing from next season isn't actually sticking to our 5 games rule, because I feel like, for example, like this Dortmund game, you guys kind of miss out on some big games, so it makes a lot more sense to just play games and see which one feels important and show you those ones instead accordingly. But yeah, just, we've been doing it all season, so it kind of makes sense to continue it. And yeah, we'll be back for the second leg of the semi-final if we do beat Vicente, who we should, because we are at home, a game that's being televised, and they are a second league team. If we do beat them, we're into the final of a pretty big cup, to be honest. And if we win it puts us in a really good position. I think this cup, if we win, it sends us straight into the Europa League. Yeah, so that will always be a good backup in case something seriously horribly goes wrong. Also, with the favourites for the competition now, or for the cup rather, because Portimonense are a Premier League team and so are Rio Ave, but they're also not as good as us in terms of the league. But Rio Ave are, a funny team to face up against so far from our experience. But yeah, we'll be back for that game, so just to double check, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, actually, we're going to be back for the Aruca game. I guess I miscalculated. But yeah, I guess it makes more sense to actually show you the final instead. Hopefully we'll still be in both these cup competitions. If not, that's kind of good news, because then we can just show you this Aruca game and maybe the last game of the season as well, because it doesn't make sense to show you 5 games time, which is just 1 game before the end of the season. We'll see how everything goes. It's really, everything's up in the air, but I'm just trying to give you as many different options as possible. But yeah, I think that's all for today's episode. So yeah, if you did enjoy it, then please do, of course, hit the like button and subscribe for more daily Football Manager 2017 content. And as always, guys, thank you all very much for watching.